In this lunchtime news broadcast, we bring you the latest news, both local and international, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Here are some of the news headlines. Cancelled tenders risking lives, Shangula says. Alweendo bullish over oil opportunities. And niece chaining man denied bail. I am Ashwin Berry, and this is NMH at 1. In today's midday news update, Victoria Shipanga was robbed of $350 Namibian yesterday in Ondangwa after a man approached asking her for directions. According to Shipanga, on their way to the destination, the unknown man instructed her to remove everything from her pocket. He took the money and left. Shipanga was going to pay for one of her subjects at a local college in Ondangwa. Remember to engage with these stories on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news coming up after the break.
Hi Shangula, you look sad.
Hi Peter, I am sad because my parents argued about whether I should spend the weekend at my mom's or dad's place. When I asked them why my views were not considered, they told me it has nothing to do with me as I am too young.
That's a job for your cape of participation. It can fix that.
My cap of what?
You're right. They're your superpowers. Your cape of participation is your right to participation. It means you have a right to participate in decisions which affect your life. You have a right to an opinion and to tell people your views in a respectful way.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
The launch of the Swakopmund Municipality and City of Geesenbok exchange program, along with the launch of 5 cubicles which represent the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, took place at the Mondesa Library earlier today.
Exchange program, but I just want to mention it's not only a book exchange. I think it's exchange of friendship. Equally, I'm honored to launch the 5 cubicles which represent the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of it all. First and foremost, allow me to extend my warm welcome to the delegation from ESA. Allow me to comment the 2 institutions for what they have achieved thus far. We are here to launch the book exchange project between the 2 cities. The city of Gießen and the municipality of Swakopmund have committed to share and exchange books perfectly to enhance the culture of reading as well as to add to the collection of books which will utilize by the library users. In conclusion, allow me to wish the delegation from the city of Gießen a pleasant and safe stay in Swakopmund. Please call on me if you need me. As an injunction, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to launch the Swakopmund Municipality City of Gießen Book Exchange Project and the Sustainable Development Goals Project Cubicles. I thank you very much.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Joseph Shivute, who is accused of physically assaulting his 15-year-old niece before placing a chain around her neck and locking it with a padlock at Onekaku village in the Oshikoto region, appeared in Ondangwa Magistrates Court today, where he was denied bail. He appeared before Magistrate Yvette Livian Fredericks, who postponed the case to 16 March 2023. Shivute, who accused the victim of abusing him mentally and financially, said he would plead guilty and defend himself. Health Minister Dr. Kalumbi Shangula said he will not tolerate any corruption in the ministry's procurement processes so that the perceived or real non-compliance observed during the controversial condom tender is avoided at all costs. Jemima Birkus reports.
Usually our first official engagement of the year with our varied stakeholders in the health sector to deliberate on the strategic and policy directions towards improved health outcomes of our communities. The forum has and continue to serve as an important objective in our planning implementation activities. The Executive Director has clearly articulated its objective. As we have done in the past, I call upon all participants to engage openly, robustly, and candidly, especially in pointing out areas of operations where improvements are needed. There is an imperative to expand services to ensure that all our people are able to access services that they need at all our health facilities. It is critical that we ensure that our infrastructure, facilities, and equipment are well maintained, are mission ready, and are in good state of repair at all times, ready to be harnessed to effectively attend to the needs of our people in every corner.
$7 million Namibian fish route loot linked to SWAPO. More on this in the newspaper review segment. Heading into the newspaper review, the Namibian Sun reports that a Supreme Court judgment yesterday dropped a fish rot bombshell when 3 judges in a bail appeal by some of the accused, citing the state's evidence, said that just less than 10% of the $75 million Namibian derived from fishing quota auctions reached the ruling party SWAPO. Acting appeal judges Theo Frank, Jeremiah Shongwe, and Kananelo Mosito recently heard arguments by former Justice Minister Saki Shangala, former chairperson of the National Fishing Corporation of Namibia Board James Hatukilipi, former Fishco CEO Mike Ngipunya, Pius Mwatelulo, Otinio Shudifonya, and Philippus Mapopi against High Court Judge Shafimana Uitele's decision to deny them bail in April 2022. On the paper's page 3, the Oshana Regional Health Directorate on Monday confirmed an outbreak of mumps at the Oshakati West Primary School, with 24 cases recorded. Senior Medical Officer Josephine Kanyama said the ministry sent a team to assess the situation on Monday morning. She said 16 learners were symptomatic and had to be sent back home. Of the 24 cases, 8 learners didn't come to school. The situation is under control. We will arrange for masks to prevent further spread, she said. Kanyama added that the confirmed cases have been advised to stay at home and isolate for the next 5 days, while the medical team also provided medication. Republican reports that the murder accused Azana Madisia yesterday told the court that she was in a sexual relationship with Shannon Daliki Wassofal's boyfriend. Madisia stands accused of killing Wassofal and hiding her body in a shallow grave. During the murder trial, in which she and her brother Stephen Mulundu are accused of the murder, Madisia took the witness stand and presented her version of events before the court. According to her, she and Wassofal's boyfriend Petrus Peter Shopala had a relationship of a sexual nature while she was in a romantic relationship with Wassofal. She testified that Shopala put an end to their tryst, saying he would like to try to work on his relationship with Wassofal. On page 3, Joseph Shivute, who is accused of physically assaulting his 15-year-old niece before placing a chain around her neck and locking it with a padlock in the Oshikoto region, was denied bail in the Ondangwa Magistrates Court yesterday. He appeared before Magistrate Yvette Livian Fredericks, who postponed the case to 16 March. Shivute, who has accused the victim of abusing him mentally and financially, said he would plead guilty and defend himself. The 51-year-old sprung to national notoriety after he allegedly physically assaulted his niece by beating and kicking her before chaining her. The Alweendo Zeitung reports that it has long been a consensus that sustainable tourism supports nature conservation. A scientific study has now been able to clearly prove that this also works in Namibian communal areas. About 38% of Namibia's land area is communal land, where conservation is implemented under the community-based Natural Resource Management Program. In order to be legally registered as a conservation area, residents of communal land must demonstrate that they are able to meet a number of important conditions, including democratically electing a representative committee, setting boundaries, and establishing a plan for wildlife management and use. Tourism and the income with their business are forcing this in a certain way. On page 3, following several complaints about the education system in Namibia and the high failure rates in the 2022 national exams, stakeholders came together with the help of the Konrad Adenauer Foundation to address the challenges in education and make proposals to improve the education system in Namibia. Mahongora Kavehuha, Secretary General of the Teachers Union of Namibia, pointed out that the TUN had played an important role in the lobbying work in the drafting of the current Education Act. According to him, the challenges in the education sector are man-made and there is a lack of leadership. We continue with the newspaper review after this short break.
Active Kids is an initiative under the MyZone brand that aims to provide exciting and easy activities and fun stories. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na. Active Kids, where we actively invest in your future.
Continuing with the newspaper review, the Namibian newspaper reports that the family of a pensioner at
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toyvon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact agenda@synergy.com.na. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
Africa Good Morning is a current affairs program that brings you the latest from Southern Africa and beyond. News, economics, sport, weather, interviews, and so much more. For any advertising or news-related queries, contact agm@synergy.com.na. Africa Good Morning, bringing Africa to you.
Apologies for that slight technical interruption. Continuing with the newspaper review. The Namibian newspaper reports that the family of a pensioner at Ikuku village at Oshakati East, whose angry outbursts are often recorded and distributed on TikTok, has called on the public to stop embarrassing him. Abraham Ludwig, also known as Tate Gea, which means Mr. Angry in Oshiwambo, is often filmed, shouted at, called derogatory names, and given alcohol. His daughter Leticia Abraham says seeing their father ridiculed on social media angers her family. On page 3, the Health and Social Services Minister Kalumbi Shangula says his ministry has been forced to cancel some operations due to the cancellation of multi-billion-dollar medical tenders a few weeks ago. He says this is putting patients' lives at risk. Shangula last week commented on the decision of the Central Procurement Board of Namibia to cancel medical supply tenders due to suspected overpricing. Namibians should not sit back and wait for the benefits of recent oil discoveries to come to them, but already exploit the opportunities presented them by the budding petroleum industry, New Era reports. Mines Minister Tom Alweendo yesterday said the immense economic benefits from these discoveries cannot be overemphasized. He made this comment after Namibia announced its third major oil discovery in just a year. On page 3, the Mine Workers Union of Namibia coordinator for the Irongo region has expressed dismay with the way labor commissioners work after 3 case files got lost at the Labor Ministry's offices in Swakopmund. Unionist George Amkwenya said he is downright dissatisfied with the services of the ministry as it is failing Namibian workers. Imagine they called me today after I followed up on some pending cases just for them to inform me that all 3 of my cases are nowhere to be found. Now, MarketWatch informs that Capricorn Foundation launched the Windhoek Business Box in partnership with MTC Dome Namibia. The Business Box Namibia initiative was started in Swakopmund as part of MTC Dome's vision to unlock the potential of Namibia's youth through sports and entrepreneurs training programs to help aspirant entrepreneurs, small business owners, and previously unsuccessful businesses become profitable and understand their role as entrepreneurs. Now, UN chief slams energy giants and rich countries. More on this in economic news after the break. Heading into economic news, UN leader Antonio Guterres on Saturday slammed the world's richest countries and energy giants for thwarting poor nations with predatory interest rates and crippling fuel prices. Guterres told a summit of the most deprived states on the planet that wealthy nations should provide $500 billion a year to help others trapped in vicious cycles that block their efforts to boost economies and improve health and education. The summit of the 46 least developed countries is normally held every 10 years, but has twice been delayed since 2021 because of the coronavirus pandemic. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar maintained its value next to the US dollar, trading at 18.24. However, it is down next to the British pound, euro and Chinese yuan. First Rand Namibia Limited making a 1.3% uptick whilst other stock prices remained unchanged. Local index closed up 0.28% whilst the overall index closed down 1693.84 points. Looking at commodities, gold and Brent crude oil managed to register some upticks, whilst copper and zinc made 0.70% and 1.46% downturns respectively. South African leader names power minister amid crisis. Don't miss news from Africa here on NMH at 1.
AgriMonitor is jou weeklikse landboukundige program wat jou die jongste nuus in die landbouverwante bedryf en onderwerpe wat daaraan gekoppel is bring. Vir enige advertensie of nuusverwante navraag, kontak agrimonitor@synergy.com.na.
Heading into Africa-focused news, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a former mayor, Kogesiyentsho Ramakgopa, to be the newly created position of Electricity Minister in an effort to address the country's long-running power crisis. The new minister faces two vast challenges: power cuts of up to 12 hours a day. The government has declared a national disaster and allegations of high-level corruption at the state-run energy giant Eskom. The company's former chief executive recently told the media that senior politicians were looting the firm. Eskom is massively in debt, almost $24 billion in the red. The rolling power cuts are strangling the economy. Some say people's fury over the blackout might even cost the governing party ANC's next year's election. In the cabinet changes announced on Monday evening, Mr. Ramaphosa also appointed the deputy head of the ANC, Paul Mashatile, as deputy president. The move was widely expected following David Mabuza's resignation last week. He also replaced the outspoken tourism minister Lindiwe Sisulu, who has opposed the president in recent months. Her position was handed to a leader of the small opposition party GOOD, Patricia de Lille. Others were replaced with the sports, arts and culture minister, as well as the minister of presidency for women, youth and persons with disabilities. Nigerian presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar on Monday led hundreds of supporters in a peaceful protest over the Electoral Commission's handling of last month's disputed vote, which the commission says was won by the ruling party candidate Bola Tinubu. Atiku and senior members of the opposition People's Democratic Party led placard-holding supporters during a march to the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the federal capital Abuja, where they handed in a petition. INEC's results showed that Tinubu won the election with 37% of the vote against Atiku's 29%, while Labour Party's leader Peter Obi polled 25%. Atiku and Obi have rejected the results, however, and plan to launch a legal challenge. All the provisions of the current electoral law have been completely contravened. We have the right to protest under the Constitution, and it doesn't stop us from going to court, Atiku told supporters outside the Electoral Commission's offices. Let's head into international news shortly. Now, France is set for disruption to transport and public services as unions protest against plans to raise the pension age from 62 to 64. Most train and metro services are cancelled on Tuesday and many schools will be closed. It's the sixth day of strikes and protests since mid-January, and unions say it will be the biggest yet. More than 1 million people are expected at demonstrations in Paris and other cities. With the government showing no sign of backing down on its pension plan, one union leader has said there is talk of escalation and bringing the country to its knees in the days ahead. There will be calls to extend the strikes in key sectors like power generation and gas terminals. So far, for all the noise and sporadic disruption, the campaign has caused little damage to the economy, and in the meantime, the bill is proceeding through Parliament. Unions and the left know time is running out before the reform becomes a fait accompli, which is all the more reason for them to up the pressure right now. We'll be starting with swimming in local sports after the break.
Region. For news-related or advertising queries, contact irongotalk@synergy.com.na. Irongo Talk, our community, your news.
Heading into local and international sport, a young team of 7 Namibian swimmers represented the Namibia Swimming Federation at the South African Level 2 Regional Championships in Pretoria last weekend. All 7 of the Namibians reached the finals of their respective events, while the group also brought back 18 medals from the championships, including 5 gold, 6 silver and 7 bronze. The boys' team of Windhoek Gymnasium and the girls' team of St. Paul's College showed good early season form last weekend when they won the inaugural Windhoek hockey tournament held at Windhoek High School. In the under-19 boys division, Windhoek Gymnasium finished on 15 points, one ahead of Windhoek High School. The final match between these two ended with no goals before Gymnasium took the win in the shootout. Former Namibia cricket coach Doug Watson has been appointed as interim head coach of Scotland. Watson, who coached the Namibian Eagles from October 2012 to 2015, will accompany the Scottish side in the 2023 Cricket World Cup qualifier in Zimbabwe in June. The South African national also currently serves as head coach of the Auckland Aces in New Zealand. Let's head into international sports. The Emirates Lions believe their turnaround in the United Rugby Championship last weekend was not because of a galvanizing spirit within the side, but rather that they hadn't attacked enough in previous games. That was the take of coach Ivan van Rooyen after their shock wins over Vodacom Bulls on Saturday, as a result which puts them back in the frame for a possible qualification for the playoffs. Brazilian star striker Neymar is to undergo surgery in repair ankle ligaments, which will keep the Paris Saint-Germain player out for the rest of the season, the Ligue 1 club said. Neymar, who has 13 goals and 11 assists in Ligue 1 this season, has not played since last month. Stand-in captain Steve Smith is looking forward to what he called a new game of chess as Australia aims to square the series in India on another spin minefield when the final test begins in Ahmedabad on Thursday. Stay with us as we head into the highlights shortly.
Flex is your health and fitness show that focuses on the health of the mind, body and spirit. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na.
Take a load off and tune into another episode of Brave Namibia as we take a look at both ordinary and extraordinary Namibians. Brave Namibia is broadcasted on NTV Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. and oneup2.com, as well as broadcasted on the following Facebook platforms on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Republican, Allgemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and all Namibia Media Holdings pages. For more information, contact the Brave team at brave@synergy.com.na. Brave Namibia, for the ordinary and extraordinary Namibians.
The Evening Review is a daily interview-based talk show that dissects and expounds on current affairs as they occur in Namibia. The show aims at reaching Namibians of all age groups who seek better understanding of the state of current affairs in the country. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Namibian Sun and Namibia Media Holdings. The Evening Review focuses on interviews, latest news and up-to-the-minute current events. Contact evening at synergy.com.na. Evening Review, unpacking today's pertinent issues.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial, and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. For news-related or advertising queries, please contact B7 at synergy.com.na.
The My.NA Cars Show provides viewers with the best in-class cars content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest cars-related news, products, and services. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Cars, more than just a ride.
You are still with NMH at 1, and these are the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a former mayor to the newly created position of Electricity Minister in an effort to address the country's long-running power crisis. France is set for disruption to transport and public services as unions protest against plans to raise the pension age from 62 to 64. Most train and metro services are cancelled today and many schools will be closed. And a young team of 7 Namibian swimmers represented the Namibia Swimming Federation at the South African Level 2 Regional Championships in Pretoria last weekend and managed to bag some medals. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa, and the world, ranging from current affairs to economic news, sports, and international headlines. From me, Ashwin Berry, have a good afternoon. See you tomorrow.